All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to shine a spotlight on one of aviation's most vital, but, almost invisible roles. It's a job that lives right at that intense intersection of medicine and flight. And it's actually one of a whole series of pieces that look at the hundreds of lesser-known jobs in aviation. And this one is all about orchestrating life-saving care when every single minute counts.
So let's just start with this fundamental truth from the world of aviation. Because look, when a life is on the line and you're thousands of feet in the air, the mission is only as strong as the planning that happens before the aircraft even starts to move. The stakes, they just couldn't be any higher.
So why is there this growing need for these incredibly complex medical flights? Well, the answer really tells you a lot about the pressures on our modern healthcare systems. It's honestly a perfect storm of factors. You've got aging populations that need more and more specialized care, city hospitals that are just completely overloaded, and then you have rural communities that are pretty isolated. Now add in the crazy, time-sensitive logistics of something like an organ transplant or even climate-driven disasters, and yeah, you can see why more patients than ever need to be moved by air.
And this is where the hero of our story comes in. Behind the pilots, behind the doctors and the nurses, there's a single point of contact, making absolutely sure that medicine, aviation, weather, and regulations all come together perfectly. And that person is the Aeromedical Operations Coordinator.
So what does this person actually do? Let's break down how they manage an entire mission, from that very first phone call all the way to the final sign-off.
Think of them as the air traffic controller, but for a single precious life. They're that calm, disciplined voice in the control room making these huge decisions while the clock is just ticking away. This isn't a flying job, it's not a clinical job. It's a coordination and judgment job.
And this right here, this is their world. The mission lifecycle is intense, and it's completely unforgiving of mistakes. It all starts with evaluating that initial medical request, then picking exactly the right aircraft for the patient's needs. From there, they're coordinating with hospitals, pilots, and medical teams, all while keeping a close eye on weather patterns and managing ground logistics, stuff like customs for cross-border flights. And every single step has to be documented perfectly, because in this field, urgency can never, ever override safety.
Okay, so who is actually a good fit for this kind of high-pressure role? The answer might surprise you. The ideal candidates? They often come directly from the front lines of healthcare, not aviation.
You know, this role is practically tailor-made for healthcare professionals who are maybe ready for a new chapter but still want to be connected to patient outcomes. I mean, if you're a hospital transfer coordinator, an EMS dispatcher, or a flight paramedic, you already get medical urgency and chain of command decisions. This is a totally natural evolution, not some giant leap into the unknown.
And here's the real key insight. Let's focus on what you don't need. You don't need a pilot's license. You don't need a medical degree. You don't need an engineering background. This role is all about your ability to think, to coordinate, and to communicate clearly when the pressure is on. It's a judgment job, plain and simple, not a technical.
And this, right here, brings us to the aha moment. For anyone who's feeling that burnout from the physically demanding front lines of healthcare, this role represents a really powerful and sustainable new chapter. It's a different kind of life-saving work. It's office-based, right? Which means a lot less physical strain and a more predictable career path long-term. Yeah, it's high responsibility, but it's often low visibility. You're the quiet professional in the background making it all happen. But most importantly, it lets you leverage years of your hard-earned experience without losing that vital connection to saving lives.
And at the end of the day, skilled coordinators are absolutely mission critical. I mean, without them, aircraft just sit idle, crews are misaligned, patients wait way too long, and the risks just multiply. They are truly one of aviation's quiet force multipliers, making sure the entire system works safely and efficiently.
So we'll just end with this question. If you are someone who thinks clearly under pressure, who respects procedure, and wants to use your skills in a new way, this might just be the perfect next step for you. It could be your second act on the flight line, and you can do it all without ever leaving the ground.